Ceiling fan blowing cold breeze on you.
Guys, welcome back to Football Watch 90. I'm your host Luis, and today just gonna do some play testing with the newly purchased Nike Phantom GX. Of course, I made an unboxing video when I actually purchased this ones in the store, and I did have a time to try them on, and it was in an AG pitch. So now today we're going to be coming into a park where they have natural grass. It's not the most ideal natural grass, but the setting is I guess more common to what people are going to be using these boots. They're not going to be in a professional pitch. Unless you are a professional, then you're not going to have this kind of problems. But either way, I'm going to test them out in the natural grass, see how good they are in the traction. They seem to be like my go-to boot now whenever I'm going to go training, and I would like to purchase a couple of these more of these in the future. So let's see what happens there. But yeah, I'm gonna do some recording here, show you guys so you can see, and just give you, I guess, we're gonna go back to my place, and then also just gonna give you some like final verdicts on this shoe. But either way, just some training, some drills, whatnot. All right, see you soon, guys. Thank you. I showed earlier, this is what the box looks like. Of course, here's a beautiful, marvelous Phantom GX. It does come with a string bag, so I personally think it's nice when the shoes do come with a string bag, because you're paying a lot of money for this. So I think those details matter. This is what we came for. Basically I kind of gave my opinions in that first video, but these shoes are just incredible. Here's the details on the sole plate. You can see it has some sort of that cracking pattern on it. It is a chrome finish, and it does come with a warning that tells you that it will wear off eventually. This is shiny chrome, right? And over here it used to be chrome, but of course it's wearing off. This, for me, it's a highlight. Especially it's more noticeable if you're using this in an AG pitch, even though it's not recommended. But they do have a lot of studs, and I think that helps in an AG pitch to distribute that pressure. This Puma Future Ultimate, they have 6 studs and 1 inside. But like I said, it has less studs, so that means there's gonna be more pressure on each stud. But the more studs that you do have on a sole plate, it's gonna be distributed even more evenly, let's say, right? And you also have a mixture. You have 3 conical studs here, and then you have this sort of like, they're not chevron, but so this is for multi-directional. So you have 3 of those, and then you have 3 conicals, which is this one, this one, this one. So definitely this will help with the acceleration forward. These things are going to be digging in, and you're basically going to be pulling like this. I pretty much like what they've done here. It's very balanced, chevron and 3 conicals. The reason I really like this is because it's very noticeable in an AG pitch. This kind of studs, or even chevron studs, will actually, they're harder to turn and pivot when they dig in onto an AG pitch. But the conicals, because they're circular, it's like a doorknob. They just turn easily. So you don't feel like your foot's getting stuck when you try to turn. It feels like it just works with you. Especially this is a very strategic placement of the conical stud, because this is where you're gonna turn a lot, at the ball of your foot. I'm not quite sure why people want to make a big deal about the sole plate not being very stiff. This is me. I didn't study any of these things, right? Anatomy, how the support in the arc should be. But the more natural the shoe is able to flex with your foot, without resistance, I think the better you are in your movement. Like, there are people who suggest, right, run barefoot. There are those people on that side, right, in that camp, who say that's better for you, it's better for athletes, better for your health. And there are people who maybe like, who might side with Adidas, right, having really stiff sole plates. And there's that camp of people who think, yeah, the stiffer the plate, the better. So I'm not sure, it's really your preference. I'm not here to tell you who's right or wrong. But in my experience, I can say that the more natural the flexion of a shoe is, the less problematic I feel, because and this is just my opinion, it's so balanced that you can put them on right away and play a game with them, and there's no need to break the shoe in or to break into the sole plate because it's too stiff, like it happened with the Puma Ultra and especially the Adidas Speed Portal. And this is just so comfortable. With this, you put them on and you start running and you immediately forget about it, and you have one less thing to worry about when you're playing. I don't think there's any issues with this sole plate. I don't know if any of you guys do think that's an issue, but I don't think it is. I actually prefer that way because then, like I said, you can put them on the first day and they already feel like they're really broken into, and you just kind of just go about your day playing, and it's one less thing to worry about. Once you forget about the sole plate, then you just kind of don't have to focus on this. Really, your attention goes to the upper, which is the star of the shoe basically. This is the reason why you might want to buy this, because of the upper, because maybe you want something similar to a Predator. So you want something that's gonna be giving you some extra grip on the ball when you're kicking. The upper is just very minimal, so you have almost like a Mercurial-esque type of feel with this because it's just very sleek, and at the same time it has a grainy, sticky feel to it. You hear that? It really has this grippiness when it has contact with the ball, because basically balls have some sort of plasticky material to it, and so does this. And basically what I'm trying to emphasize, how very effective Nike has done this application of this grippy fibers. It's just sensational. I like more barefoot feeling shoes compared to like bulkier ones, and that's why I'm on the fence of getting Adidas Predator, but I think I will get it eventually to kind of compare this to that. This is gonna go down in history of football boots as one of the classics, the same way like the Magistas. I think the heel was kind of controversial. I think that if you want to see what's the opposite of this, you go to the Puma Ultra Ultimate, where the heel was extremely stiff. Like it felt like a board. Like just when you flex, the heel really pushes back on this heel counter, and if it feels like it's a board, you're gonna start to feel pain. You know, it's really biting down on your heel. This, on the opposite, it's soft, it's very malleable, and then it also offers a lot of padding, so it's extremely comfortable in the heel. Now, in terms of how they fit, I fit perfectly in the Mercurials, and I think Mercurials are kind of like the ideal fit for me. However, I thought that I was gonna have problems with this. I thought they were gonna be like, oh, it's for wider feet, and it actually fits me very well, especially if I have grip socks. When I did wear this with grip socks, I found that it fit perfectly. The only thing that I'll have to say about this shoe is that when I do tie them on, you see how this thing kind of creases. So when I do try them on, I like to have my shoes very tight, and I will show you some images of what I mean, that there's some sort of space here where it feels like there was extra material here to stretch out even more if you have wider feet or a higher arc here in your feet. So I mean, I just don't think you will have a problem if you have narrow feet or if you have wide feet, because this material just molds to your feet. Now finally, my last thoughts. Like I said, I'm very pleased with this. I'm very happy that I want to get 2 or 3 pairs of these. I also think that another shoe that competes directly with this is the Puma Future Ultimate. I think that these are more closely related in the sense of how they perform. And the reason is because this is like a textile material, of a knitted material, knitted upper. And the Puma Future also have this very soft knitted upper. This is so soft, and this is also a material that's just gonna mold to your feet very well. Personally, I think this is the direct contender to like the GX. I think this is what competes directly with it. They're very similar in that sense, unlike the Predators that has a different material as an upper. you know, if you want knitted uppers, you have to go for either one of these. Definitely it's cheaper and offers similar experience, but this is where I think that the Nike sole plate has a win over Puma, because like I said, if you do play in grounds that might be not as soft or ideal, because they do have more studs on the sole plate, it's gonna distribute that pressure more evenly across your foot, so you're not gonna have that discomfort. Where I do find it that when I do wear the Puma, especially on aging pitches, that because there's less studs, I do feel more pressure. And also they're very aggressive, they're very chunky, they're very tall blades compared to what Nike has. If you look at this, you see the difference here, guys. This is the comparison in the size of the blades of Puma and Nike. Puma has more aggressive, chunkier and taller blades, and that's gonna make strut pressure be more noticeable. And also because these are sort of like chevron blades and triangular, they don't rotate on the floor as much, especially because you're gonna use this blade to sort of like rotate and pivot. It's not gonna be this one, because this one is too far out from the ball of the feet. Or even if it's both, like you see that there's gonna be your foot's gonna be well anchored to the floor. Just want to say this is a very good option if you're thinking about getting something that's gonna be knitted, comfortable, and good for any kind of foot type, especially if you have white feet. These are a lot more expensive, but these ones you can always find them in a discount, and they're heavily discounted. Puma has a lot of shoes that are heavily discounted, and I think that's a plus for Puma, because they're really trying to compete with Nike and Adidas, who are basically dominating the market right now. However, I've said this before, if that is not a problem with the price of the boot is, I think that just you need to try this. These are just incredible. Again, I maybe compare them later on, but I will need to get a pair of Predators just so that I can be fair to the three brands and just kind of give you a direct comparison of what they offer. Of course, this might be closer in comparison to a Predator than the Pumas because of the grippiness that you're gonna have when you kick in the ball, and this does not offer that at all. But when it comes to wider feet, I think that definitely the Puma is gonna be favoring people with wider feet. The Nike, they're kind of in the middle, and I guess that the Adidas are actually like the best option, but maybe these are the best option, who knows. But there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. This is just my opinions, of course. I think even with all the criticism I've been giving Nike for how they have been letting their distribution basically of the shoes, I think that they also kind of make up for it for the quality products that they have been releasing, where they're just outstanding overall with the air units in the materials, and now the grip texture, the Nike grip on the GX. So guys, thanks for watching. It was a pleasure, and I'll see you again. Please leave your comments, like, subscribe, and just thank you a lot for all your support. We'll be having some more videos coming later on. Until then, take care.